G'day to my subscribers and viewers. How are we, people? All good, I hope. Tell you what, talk is cheap, isn't it? It really is. I remember a guy last video said, yeah, I'm going to fix all the editing issues and so on and so on and so on. And, you know, he went out and did exactly the same thing, but in a different style. Yes, my apologies. We are going to endeavour to correct all that, and we shall get on with this. I think this is about part 9. I could be mistaken. Yeah, let's rock and roll, guys. Manifold's on, guys. Just painted it all black, as you know. Carby's got to go on. Put me exhaust bend on and the stainless steel exhaust stack. That's got to be cut down. It's too tall, but you get the idea. It's straight out, so yeah, might have a bit of a note to it and probably be a bit loud, but you know, loud pipes save lives is what they say. But yeah, she's starting to look like yeah, a bit of hot rod. Well, that front axle walking beam, I don't know what you'd call it, is back on. There's all the other bits. I've got to start cleaning up all the kingpins and all of that, and the hubs and all of that. And that, I think, is the last of the real messy work. I hope. I'm sick of fucking grease and shit. Yeah, no, as I say, the pin took a bit of tapping to get in. Not hard, just it was firm. I measured it before I tried putting it in. It was exactly the same measurement, so I think you call that an interference fit. Not quite sure. Anyway, it's nice and firm. Bolted up beautifully, greased it, and the whole arm is, you know, moving really nice and free, which is exactly what it's supposed to, with a grease nipple on it. There should be no more real wear issues. This won't be working hard enough that it'll ever wear out in my lifetime anyway, so it's, yeah, no, that'll be all right. So as I say, we can start cleaning up the kingpins, what have you. Radiator's been sent off. Yeah, so yeah, it's coming along. We're going to start cleaning up all these this front end assembly, the kingpin, whatever the hell you call all this shit, the stub axles, all that. All this has got to be cleaned up. It's in real crappy condition. Take your grease cap off. Once I clean that, scunge off. There'll be a split pin in there and a nut. Just pull the split pin, undo the nut, and that should come apart. As I say, all of this has got to soak in the parts cleaner for a while. Going to powder coat these hubs and that stub axle. They'll be just spray painted because they're a bit big to fit in the oven. But yeah, so this is, as I said, the last of the real dirty stuff. I'm hoping. I'm getting sick of bloody cleaning 70-year-old dirt and grease. Cleaning, and more cleaning. This is the right-hand side, front hub, idler arm, whatever you want to call it, kingpin, so on and so on. Powder coat, just rattle can. They're all cleaned up and ready to go. Cleaned up the nuts and bolts and the bearings. The bearings are all right. Seal's a bit dicky, but it'll be okay. Just got to clean up that arm, and then give it a lick of paint, and we can bung that on right here, and we're going to make it a little bit wider so we match our track at the back. There's a bit of adjustment there, obviously. I'm not quite sure how it all works out, but we're going to find out. But yeah, the parts on the right-hand side are clear. Yeah, just got to, well, this is the left-hand side. That's all got to be tarted up. But yeah, slowly but surely. Well, guys, there's the right-hand leg, I think you'd call it, kingpin assembly, whatever. Yeah, cleaned all. I mean, look, the wheel bearings I did, just cleaned them up and greased them, that sort of thing. That's standard, you know, no big deal in that. I've still got to grease the actual kingpin. I'd put on a lot on assembly, but it'll need greasing. I've extended the track a little bit, as you can see. This was sort of up here originally. What they say in the book is always leave at least one hole between the two bolts. 2 is fine. That's just a wider, you know, a bit more support, but never do like 1, 2. There's just not enough support. You have to do like 1, 2 and have one hole in the middle. We're all right there. As I say, we've got 2, that's fine. Tightened up beautifully. Starting to get pretty heavy, the whole assembly. Yeah, there's a bit of weight in it. Once I get the other side on, that'll balance it out, of course. But yeah, that come up beautiful, and yeah, the hub's fine. Yeah, and that'll. I can't really see both. I'm too close. I was going to say, you get an idea of the wheelbase now, or the track rather. Yeah, battle on. Well, there's our kingpins and wheel hubs on. Yeah, that's our front end, sort of, basically. We've got to put the radius arms or lateral arms or whatever the bloody hell you call those things, and the tie rods have got to go on. I may get new ball joints for them. Waiting on some tyres, waiting on another rim. Yeah, but anyway, it's coming along. Got 2 new bolts for the radius arms, radius rods, whatever they were. The old ones were a bit flogged out, as you can see there. You know, she's pretty well worn. It was slopping back and forward, so got 2 new bolts and nuts and washers. Yeah, we'll just put a bit of grease, you know, anti-seize grease on them, and drop them in. They're hardened too, by the way. It should be right as rain. It's going to be a damn sight better than those bloody rusty, cruddy old things. Well, that's the radius arms in, guys, with those new bolts. Yeah, all tightened up at that yoke end, knuckle, whatever you call it, that ball end. That has come up really good. It's heaps more firmer. There's no slack in any of it because the pin's new, as you know, in the bushing. Yeah, so it's come up really nice and tight. And it's not tight, but it's firm, you know. As I say, it moves quite freely, but it's firm. So that's good. So there'll be bloody, I'm tipping another 70 years in that. Not that I'll see the next 70, but yeah, that should last quite a while. Well, tubers, it's been a lot of work, but guess what? She's back down on all fours. Got to put the tie rods in yet, of course. I think I'll get some new ball joints for them. They look a bit scungy. Yeah, the rubbers are a bit cracked and all of that. They'll be a bit awkward to clean up. I'll just replace them at the cost of them. Yeah, brand new tyres, painted up the rims. As you can see, they come up all right. Yeah, just in the same silver, you know. Yeah, it looks pretty flash now. She's down on all fours, but yeah, so what have we got? Radiator, petrol tank, bonnet, headlights, wiring, steering. There's still a little bit to go yet. Speaking of wiring, I just got, that's the alternator bracket. That's got to be all cleaned up. Oh, I've got a new thermostat housing and a brand new alternator. That'll be the wide pulley for the 19mm belt. That'll be alternator wiring. Oh, wiring and bolt kit, yep. And that's the actual new alternator in there. Should fit pretty much straight on. Someone's changed that adjustment bracket. I'll clean that up and should be able to reuse it, hopefully. If not, I'll have to come up with something. But yeah, as I say, we'll run an alternator. That means we don't have to stuff around with a regulator, which, as you know, would normally sit under the battery there. Yeah, but yeah, she's really starting to look like a tractor. Thermostat housing's on, guys. Just give it a lick of black paint. Couple of new bolts, fresh gaskets, so on and so on. These aren't tight yet. I'll probably have to take that back off when I come to put the radiator in, just to give me a bit more room. Maybe not, we'll see how we go. That's just where the link goes to support your radiator. The hose was quite serviceable, just give it a clean up and a bit of armour all. And yeah, that's... yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that's coming up, and the alternator should look good because she's aluminium and black, so that'll match in perfectly with the rest of the motor. Working on the alternator mounting, guys. As you know, I've got a new alternator. My belt was about 5mm out. The easiest thing I could think to do was to slot these holes in the actual bracket. course, if I took 5mm, I was going to run out of room for the nut, so I've just trimmed that end off, and that should be enough support for it. I mean, I'm not pulling massive revs. So anyway, that gives me good alignment, and I had to make a new bracket for the bottom of the alternator, just the adjustment one, just a bit of aluminium with the slot milled out, and yeah, we can put it all on and see what happens. You can just see the slot there, guys. That's about me 5mm. As you can see, I would have run out of room with the nut because there's actually curve in the metal there. Yeah, that's given me about 5mm. So hopefully our alignment, we're going to put the alternator on now, hopefully our alignment's going to be pretty good. There we have an alternator, guys. Bracket come up all right with a powder coat, just sort of polished that bit of aluminium a little bit. Alignment is, it's slightly back that way, but it's a lot better than what it was. I don't think it'll be a problem. Yeah, that's about it, just a matter of wiring it up, and yeah, we've got to do the carby yet, but yeah, come up all right, that. Well, guys, we're starting to get pretty low on parts now, which means we must be getting close. Going to start cleaning up the air filter intake, or the intake tube and all that in the air filter. Someone's put this on it at some stage and got rid of the original piping up into the dash. Why, I don't know. Anyway, we're just going to put one of those little screen, sort of one of these little things on top of that. I'll show you what I mean. One of these little, one of that type. One of them will do for the top of the intake. I don't have the original rubber and the hole's gone. Just got I've ordered a new set of tie rod ball joints. So they're coming, so I'll replace all the old ones. Got the tie rods outside drying. I've just painted them. And I'm just cleaning up the clamps. But we're going to start on the, as I say, the air cleaner. And the first thing that can go is that. We'll get new rubber hoses for it. Some new clamps. I'm not putting all that crap on. I mean, look, it's all garbage. I mean, they're serviceable, but I want it to look pretty good. So we'll get some new hoses for there, and I'll clean this up, powder coat it black, and that should be looking all right. And same for all of that. I'll powder coat all that. I should be able to fit it in there. I'll disassemble it first, and should be looking all right. There, the clamps for the tie rods, guys. Just cleaned them all up, powder coated the bracket itself, cleaned up the nuts and bolts and put some new spring washers on it, and yeah, they're just waiting on some ball joints. Carby's on, guys. It's got to be all set, of course. You can do preliminary settings. Your idle mixture, screw it until it stops, turn it out about 1.5 turns to 2 turns will get you started. That's the main mixture. About the same. I just turned that out about 2 turns. Once it's going, you can tune all that, obviously. Check your gasket. Any vacuum leaks there will make it impossible to tune properly. Yeah, and the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. So, yeah, hooked up the governor. It's got to be all set. She's ready to rock. Well, guys, this is one of the last major parts of the job, the bonnet. It's not stuffed. It's not bad. It's just it's been used. You know, there's on these side panels. There's a few dents there. The chin panel's got a few little dents. The grill inserts are beautiful. They must have been replaced. A couple of loose ones there. I can fix that. They're both beautiful. So they'll just be black. I'll just sandblast them and black them. Yeah, as I say, that side's not bad. The chin panel's a bit, the main bonnet. It's aluminium, I think I've mentioned before. It's obviously been bashed in at some stage, and you can see someone's panel beaded it out. And it's split the aluminium, bit of a dent there. And it's a bit wavy. Now, I'm no panel beater. And being aluminium, it'll probably stretch, or is probably already stretched. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't want to spend big bucks on this thing. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to strip it apart. Take the rails off and all that. There's the back of the grill there. Clean it up and do as best I can and get it as best I can. And keep my eye out for a good second-hand one. I don't want to spend big, massive bucks on it. These tractors aren't worth a thing. That'll be black underneath in that tar paint that I used over here on the battery thing. That's just that stuff. That's sort of like that, you know, chip-proof bloody paint. It'll be that underneath, and of course orange on the top. Beautiful day here in Gippsland, really, about 25, very nice. But yeah, she's a bit waved. I'm gonna try my best to see if I can pop those panels out a bit and that, and a bit of body filler and a little bit of belting with the hammer, and hopefully we'll be able to make something out of it. Yeah, don't know. Yeah, anyway, we're gonna give it a go. So first things first, we'll pull it to bits. One Tea20 bonnet disassembled. Bit of a bugger of a thing. A lot of the nuts and bolts were seized. It's been not butchered, but someone's been at it in the past. You can see those screws have been cut off and they've these are the ones for the little grill. They would originally sit in there from the factory. Someone's changed a lot of that. Broken nuts and bolts here and there, dents, bent, this and that. That's going to take a bit of TLC and a bit of panel beating. These grill inserts are really good. They're a little bit loose on a couple of the fins, but they'll clean up all right. They're basically pretty straight. That's the bow for the back of it to support the bonnet. That's fine. They're the runners for the bonnet stay. That one's a little bit bent, but I can straighten that. Broke a couple of the bolts, so they'll have to be cut off and renewed. The bonnet itself is, you know, don't know if that's meant to be slightly dipped or what, or should that be level. This is all a bit, you know, bit how you going. I don't know with this bonnet. I'll do what I can. It's not going to be 100%, but I'm no panel beater. It's as light as a feather. Absolutely light as a feather. It's aluminium. Oh, there's the stay down there. That's easy enough. They're the side panels. They are 95%. They're actually pretty good. Just a good sand back, undercoat and paint. And they should clean up pretty easy. As I say, the hardest part is the bonnet. We're just going to go piece by piece. So what we'll do is we'll start soaking these to get the paint off them. We'll start cleaning them. And yeah, there's a couple of cracks there in that too, which will, this is steel. A couple of cracks there, which I'll have to, I'll mig them up a little bit and grind them back. But yeah, there's a few dents, as you can see. This is all rounded, so that needs to be popped out a bit, I think. I'm not going to, I mean, look, to replace these parts, I think, as I think I said, I can get a whole complete bonnet, but it's, I think it's like about $1,200 or something. I mean, I only paid $2,000 for the tractor. I'm not replacing all that. I'll make it as good as I can, as I said, and just try and get a good second-hand bonnet. Yeah, it'll clean up right. It won't be fantastic, but God, it's going to be better than what it is. One other thing I didn't mention, guys, all these nuts and bolts and all of that hold it all together, if you want to frustrate shit out of yourself and spend hours cleaning them, that's fine. You know what I do with them? Pick them up in the bin, guys. They're just far too much work. Just replace them. Unless you want 100% originality and use original hardware, chuck them. They're just, all that is more work than it's worth. The cost of nuts and bolts is bloody very cheap, and you can readily get ones to do it. So chuck them out, guys. Nothing like getting new parts for the tractor, guys. It's almost like Christmas, except it costs you. We got our new tie rod ends. They're the fronts, and they're the rears. Permanently sealed by the look of it, not greasable. Yeah, that's a good. Oh, we also got our new new ID tag. I'll show you the old one, and then you'll see the reason why I bought a new one. Of course, you have to stamp it with the numbers, but that's fine. I've got letter stamps. I'll show you that. That's the old one. So you can clearly see the difference. I'm not doing all this work to put that on the bloody tractor, but if you look real closely there, you can make out the A232 or 282434. So I've got the letters. We'll stamp that across to that. And that can be just pop riveted on the little spot right there, and then that sort of finishes that off nice and neat. Yeah, as I say, tie rods are pretty self-explanatory. They're the rears. When I say the rears, they go in off the idler arms, off the steering box, which is those ones. Just hope there's enough room there for the bloody nut. Yeah, anyway, we'll see. I'm not going to paint them. I just think these things look better raw. I know they'll go rusty. I'll keep a bit of oil and shit on them, but sometimes I think these things look better raw. As I said from the start of this, I hate overspray and all of that. I think it just looks bloody terrible. But as I said in the first video, I know why they do it. I just don't like the look of it. But anyway. Well, tie rods are on, guys. Pretty straightforward. The ones at the back, they've got more of a bend in the actual thread, whereas these ones are straight up the front. A couple of things you've got to watch. When you've finished assembly, make sure, it's a bit tight, but make sure these ball joints can actually swivel. In other words, if you put that ball joint one way and tighten the clamp and this one the other way, the thing won't be able to swivel as the suspension goes up and down, and you'll get some binding, which may do some damage. So just I'll get a pair of pliers and I'll show you what I mean. Just so as you know, because it's a little bit of a trap. I'm trying not to damage the paint. I'll get a bit of rag. As you can see in its neutral position, see how there's some movement in that? It's a bit tight, but there's plenty of movement there. That just allows for suspension movement up and down and in and out. Sorry, camera work, left and right and what have you. You've also got to watch your toe-in adjustment. Not so critical probably on an old tractor like this. You're better off with toe-in than toe-out. In other words, looking at the front, toe-in would be if your wheels were pointed that way. That's exaggerated. Toe-out would be if your two front wheels at the front were pointing out instead of in. So you want a little bit of toe-in. If I remember my theory correctly, as the car or the tractor or whatever's going down the road resistance will tend to want to push that straight. So as you're going down the road this way, the push against the tyre will be that way, or the suspension. And if you've got a little bit of toe-in, that force will square up the wheels and they will run straight. That's what toe-in does. That's a very, very rough description, but that's sort of how it works. Yeah, I'll check all that toe-in and get it really close. Once I put the steering wheel on and see where the spokes end up, I'll square it all up. But yeah, just make sure you've got that flexibility in the front. It's sort of, it's pretty important, so just check that. Well, we're going to stamp our new plate. As you can see, this is only really thin aluminium. That's the old one, obviously, and I've just had a bit of a practice with the letter A. I'm only using a very small hammer. It's that thin that one good belt and it'll be ruined. I just did a very, very light tap with that hammer and got a pretty good looking A. So we're going to go with that. So we've got to go TEA. Now the letter sizing, a bit hard to see that. Probably just slightly bigger. These are the only stamps. I've got other stamps, but I haven't got numbers in them, but I've got letters, and they're a lot smaller. So we'll use these. We're just going to go real easy and try and get it all in the line and get it half reasonable, but we've got to start off with an A. So there's an A. And we line that up as best we possibly can and just give it a light tap and we'll see how we go. I've only got one pair of hands, so I'll do it and then come back to it. Well, there's the A, guys. It's not too bad. You got to get it is obviously bigger. Not much I can do about it. Yeah, you've just got to try and get the letters as straight and as square as possible. And the other thing is you only get one try at this, so double check everything. And there we have it, guys. All nice and official and almost like a brand new tractor. And all stamped up. You can see there the 8 It's actually 282434. The 8's a little bit funny, but to go back for a second try, you can stuff it right up. You can just make it out. I might try the 8 again, but it's so bloody easy to mess it up. But yeah, so she sort of, it's been given official life again, as it were. Its tags are back on it. So yeah. Well, guys, panel work. It's not my thing, but geez, that won't stop me from having a go. These are the side panels. That's the second round of filler. They were just a little bit low, but they're coming up. I managed to hammer a lot of the dents out of it, and the rest will have to be body filler. I'm not that skilled, but they're coming up. That's not bad. I've only just started on that. That was pretty crappy around the bottom. This chin panel was pretty bad. They're all obviously low or high spots, but that is a million times better than what it was. The base was all, sorry, the sun's glaring in that. The base was all, this was all pushed in, and I've got that not bad. I've actually sort of got the curvature back. That'll be just that sound deadener, anti-chip sort of shit inside, that black shit I was telling you. I've welded up the holes in that and I'll re-drill them to suit. Patched up these little holes. As I say, that's got to have body filler. Welded the cracks. There was a couple of cracks here. They've been welded. That's been welded in there. It's not perfect, far from it, but geez, it's a far cry from what it was. But yeah, it's coming along. That's a lot better. I was nearly going to replace it. I thought, no, stuff it. It hasn't come up too bad. Look, it's not far from perfect. And it'll probably show every bloody bit of trouble when I paint it. But I've bought some high fill primer, primer filler, whatever it is. It's high fill. $200 worth of bloody paint and hardener. But anyway, there's 5 litres there, so that's heaps. Oh, I've got some stickers for the side of the air cleaner there. You know, it just sort of looks at just a little bit newer. Air cleaner's done. I'm waiting on the hose kit. Got to do the steering wheel, but yeah, the panels are. Yeah, look, they're coming along. I mean, for a guy who knows nothing about it, that's not too bad. It's getting there. I'll just do that with filler, and and a little bit there. That'll come back into shape, and the sides are good. Yeah, we'll see. Guys, this is one of the tracks for the bonnet stay. As you lift up the bonnet, the stay goes along and supports the bonnet. I've put new bolts in it. Two of the old ones were broken. I thought, right, I'll put a whole new set in it. I haven't welded right round. There's no need. It just has to be held. Got to clean up the weld a little bit. But yeah, I cleaned out the tracks and all of that just with a wire wheel on the drill. That gets right in there and cleans all the shit out of it. And the outside I just did with a on the wire wheel on the grinder. Yeah, they'll be all right. I just centre popped a couple of holes just in line with where the bolts were originally. So you know where they go back. I've got to clean, the outside's done. I haven't done the inside on that one yet. But you get the idea. Just put some primer filler on those panels. They're just drying at the moment. Just got them out of the rain. They're outside. It just started to rain. Just got them in. Yeah, but anyway, it's got to be sanded, of course. It's primer filler. They're not coming up too bad. Pretty happy with that chin panel. Yeah, we'll clean the other one of these up, and we're getting very close to tackling this bloody thing. I've shown you this. I'm not looking forward to this. I don't know what... This is aluminium, and I can't aluminium weld. I don't know what I'm going to do with these cracks. Maybe just fill them. Don't know. It's... Yeah. I'm thinking, I wonder if I could do something with bloody solder. You know, like silver solder for soldering electrical connection. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. It's got to have a bit of panel beating. The trouble is I'm not 100% sure what the original panel looks like. I'm guessing that should be straight. With that fold in it, obviously. But, yeah, it's... Yeah, things like that. Don't know what I'm going to do there. The rest of it's not bad. I mean... Yeah. we'll see, we'll see. And I've got to do the tank. Oh, I had a comment too. A fella reckons I've got the wheel track a little bit wide. He reckons it looks awkward. Well, that's fine, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. The trouble is the bloke doing the tractor is awkward. So it's sort of a match and pair. Yeah, I don't know, it's sort of growing on me. Plus, as I said, stability on this block. That's what I'm mainly thinking of is if I have a narrow track, you know, there's a lot more chance of it going over. So that's why I've gone wide. It may look a bit odd, but like I said, the guy sitting on the bloody thing's pretty odd too. Well, Bonnet's getting there, guys. I panel beated the chin panel down here, as you know. Didn't come up too bad. I mean, the gaps and shit aren't perfect. Of course they're not. They probably weren't out of the factory. But I got a lot of the big dents out of it, welded it up. The side, I don't know, the side panels, whatever you want to call them, they were pretty good. I panel beated them and sanded them right back. And that's what you're looking at is a epoxy primer filler, which is this stuff. Yeah, that stuff there with the hardener, 4:1, so 4 parts paint, 1 part hardener, I think the ratio is. But yeah, the sides come up real good, and it sort of rubbed back nice. But once again, I mean, by the time I come to put orange on it, we'll see. I think I showed you the air cleaner, that's done. I just did that for a top. I put a bit of a sticker on it to break it up a little bit, you know. Just waiting on the proper hoses. I think I told you that. Yeah, fuel systems already. Also got some of that stuff. That's just to go across the top of the dash for that soft that sort of rubber edge where the bonnet shuts down so it doesn't rattle. Yeah, it's not original, but geez, I'm not paying bloody. They want 40 or 50 bucks or something for the bloody original. I thought, forget it. Anyway, and we've been screwing around with a bit of wiring, so starting to fall together. Well, guys, the bonnet's basically done except for the inserts. As I've said before, if ever you want any advice or guidance on painting, don't come to me, because I have no idea. I mean, look, that looks all right, but get it out in the sun and that, you know, look, it'll do. It's better than what it was, but yeah, it's just my painting skills leave a bit to be desired. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it is what it is. Radiator's in, guys. Yeah, as I say, it looks a bit scummy. What can you do with the bloody thing? You hardly see it. Hoses on, so on and so on. As you can see, there's not a lot of clearance with that thermo fan, but that's enough. Nothing really should move that much, so we'll be all right. Yeah, got to wire it in, of course. Blue wire down there has to go to the fan, so on and so on. That's got to go to the sensor. Yeah, anyway, but now that that's done, we can get the bonnet on and get the headlights in and start finishing a bit of this bloody wiring. We're getting close. Now, getting into the wiring, guys. If I haven't mentioned it already, that's for the fan, obviously, comes back. Just put a plug on it in case you ever have to remove it. This has all got to be in split loom. Yeah, I've tried to sort of go with a colour code. In the box is basically done. Yeah, ignition switch is in, down in there. This has all got to be taped up. They're both for the positive on the battery as well as the terminal. Yeah, I don't know with wiring. I'm no gun auto electrician. I'll probably get away with what I'm doing. All this has got to be done. Alternator's wired. That's the wire to the light. That's the one to the battery. You've seen that. There for the headlights, low and high beam, I think you've seen. Yeah, coming along. Just doing the grill inserts for the bonnet. They're just out here. It's a beautiful day in Gippsland today, about 30. They're just hanging up there drying at the moment. I'll be able to put them in. Got to touch up a couple of spots on the bonnet. Yeah, I know it looks like bloody a wave pool, I know, but how do you panel beat it? Well, I don't know. Yeah, so we can put those inserts in. Just leaves the tank. That's just got to be painted orange. I tell you what, like, put in a good day's work, you'll have this going. It's that close now. It's finish the wires, put the tank on, and the bonnet, bit of plumbing for the fuel, and then it's started up and, you know, do the final tune, fix any errors, whatever. So we are really close now. This is a part of part 9, as you know. I don't know if I'll do a part 10, which is the final start, or try and squeeze it all into part 9. I don't know yet.
Well, guys, that's part 9. Thank you to my subscribers and viewers. Subscribers, there's been a few more. As I say, I never ask. If you want to subscribe, go right ahead. If you don't, that's fine too. Yeah, and hopefully the editing's a little bit better on this one. I dropped the ball a little bit, but I think we're back on it. Anyway, part 10 should see this thing going and finished. See you guys.